Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today to hear all about Alaska by land, the alternative to consider for your next vacation. Now, before we go ahead and get started with everything, just a couple of quick things I want to mention. On the right-hand side of your screen in that go to a webinar panel, you're going to see a section for handouts. There's three there. You can actually click and download those. It's actually going to be a reference to some of the things I'm going to talk about today. And in that panel, it's also where you'll find your questions box. So if you do have any questions throughout this presentation, please feel free to type them right into there, and I'll make sure at the end to leave a little bit of time so I can get to those questions. So with that, I do want to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Jackie Malecki, and I'm the product manager here at Railbookers for North America. So really excited to be talking to you all about some of our Alaska packages that we have and what it's like to travel there by land and to take the train throughout Alaska. Before I get into the packages and talk about all the different destinations, just kind of a couple quick things about who we are here at Railbookers and what we can do for you. I'd love to go over. For those of you who have not been on our presentations in the past and aren't as familiar with us, Railbookers is a part of the Yankee Leisure Group family of brands. So we operate three different ones. Again, today we're really going to focus on our Railbookers brand in Alaska, but even with Railbookers, we actually operate worldwide rail vacations. So anywhere the train goes, pretty much, we can put together the vacation package for you. We can do hotels, tours, sightseeing, attractions, transfers, and we do it all throughout the US, Canada, then also Europe, Asia, Australia. Again, anywhere you're looking to travel, we can help you with that. We also operate Amtrak Vacations, so we are the official tour operator for Amtrak, and we manage all of their rail vacations. So anywhere in the US, Canada you're looking to travel, we can put those packages together with our Amtrak Vacations brand. Most popular with that is a lot of the national parks like Glacier, Grand Canyon, and we also operate Yankee holidays. So if you're flying or driving to your destination through the US and Canada, we can still do the land portion for you. So that's just a little bit about who we are overall and what we can do here at Yankee Leisure Group for you. So why do travelers love Railbookers and booking and traveling with us? Well, we can actually book up to 24 months in advance. So we can help you plan well in advance your next rail vacation. We offer bucket list experiences for those special occasions, whether you're celebrating an anniversary, a milestone birthday, or really any special occasion. We can help plan that and make it special and personalized just for you. There's a lot of freedom and flexibility with our packages, so you aren't stuck to a set itinerary. We can add more time in the different destinations that you're traveling to. You're also traveling independently, so you're not with a set group. So if you do find maybe a local cafe, you want to sit outside, relax, have a cup of coffee, or if you want to venture to Denali National Park and just sit, relax, and watch for wildlife, you can do that as we give you some free time for those specific reasons. The train is the most scenic way to travel, of course. You can just sit back, relax, soak in the amazing views. With Railbookers, you only have to put down a small deposit now. That's to hold your space, lock in your pricing, and the rest of your trip you can pay later as you get closer to your departure date. We have a wide range of accommodations for you to choose from, 3, 4, 5 star, lots of different properties to match everyone's travel needs. And all of our itineraries are customizable because we work to make the perfect vacation to fit your needs. Keep that in mind too when I say they're all customizable. Even as I talk about some of the packages that we have today, if there's something you want to tweak about it, you want to add more time in a destination, we can easily do that for you. Just let us know. As I mentioned, we can book up to 24 months in advance. We can also book packages 2 days from now. So if you're looking for a last minute trip, I mean, you could call us today and this weekend, we can have you in Alaska. As Alaska is open now, all the tours, they are running. There's a little bit of time left in their season, although most people are planning ahead for 2021, and we've even seen some for 2022, because so many vacations have all been canceled, postponed this year. So everyone's looking to plan early. We all just want to have something to look forward to, as we've been stuck at home for far too long. When you book with us, we do offer 24-hour support from our global offices. So anytime, day or night, you need something, whether it's while you're just planning your trip or when you're on your trip, if you have an issue or you just have a question, anything you need, we are always here for you. We have offices in Beverly, Massachusetts, in the Boston area. It's actually where I'm based out of. We have an office in Toronto, in Laguna Hills, so in Southern California, one in London, in Sydney. So again, we are spread all over the world and here to help you. So I do want to talk about our maximum flexibility offer, because we're really excited about this, and it's a new policy that we've put in place in the days of COVID-19 and with everything that's happening right now, because we want to make sure that if you're booking with us, you feel comfortable doing so and you have peace of mind. If anything happens, anything needs to change, you're not going to lose any money or have to lose your trip, anything like that. So with our maximum flexibility offer, this is good for any booking made through September 30th. And basically, we're saying you can book with us and you actually have the ability to change your travel dates or cancel your trip up to 5 days prior to your departure. Things are changing daily. We know that, we recognize that. So we want to make sure that you have time, you can make a last minute decision. So let's say you book with us today and you plan on traveling end of October, and the week before you decide, you know what, I just don't feel comfortable going right now, I'd rather wait. No questions asked, give us a call. We will go ahead, we'll rebook your trip, whether you want to go a month later, if you want to push it off to 2021, we can rebook that for you. And this does apply for existing reservations as well. So if you've already made a booking with us and you're not traveling for a few months, you don't have to make a decision now. Again, things are changing rapidly, and depending where you're coming from, everyone, all the states are in different situations. So no worries, just give us a call 5 days before and you can change or cancel your trip. So a big reason why people always call us when it comes to rail travel is because we take the mystery out of rail travel. It can be very complicated, as there's so many different routes throughout the world. Here I have the map of just Europe and the rail system there. And if you can see all the different colors in that map, those are all different high-speed train lines across Europe. And of course, none of them talk to each other. So if you're trying to book, you have to individually access all these websites. But as the rail expert operator, we have the relationships with them. We know exactly where these trains go, when they're traveling, if not daily, and the best route, whether you're looking for the fastest or sometimes you just want the most scenic. Maybe you want to travel through the Swiss Alps to get to your destination. We can do that for you and we can help you out with that. Again, this is just Europe. Think about how many there are around the world. We have direct partnerships with them, so that's how we're able to get the best rates for you, and we can book before it's even available to the public. As I mentioned, we can book up to 2 years out, but with some of these train systems, you can only book a few weeks or a month in advance. So it definitely makes planning a trip a little challenging. So with that, I want to get to today's hot topic, which is Alaska. So when is the best time to travel through Alaska by land? The peak season and the best season is definitely June through September. That's when Denali National Park is open, all the sightseeing in the various towns are available, the jet boats are running, the smaller cruise ships are running throughout the fjords in that area. And some of the reasons to travel through Alaska by land specifically is, Alaska is a fifth the size of the contiguous lower 48 states. So there's so much to do and to see. The best way to access it is to take the train, to go deep into Alaska, into the wilderness of it. When you travel by land, you can explore so much more. You can stay in private cabins, overnight in hotels and lodges within Denali National Park or Talkeetna, as opposed to visiting some of these on a day trip from a cruise port. Again, you can travel deep into the heart of the wilderness of Alaska. That's what makes Alaska so unique. That's why people are traveling to Alaska. And you can also travel independently. So you have more free time to explore on your own. You can travel at your own pace and create your own schedule and itinerary. So why should you take the train specifically? Because the journey should be as spectacular as the destination itself. And that's exactly what you get when traveling on the train. You can see views that are inaccessible by cruise or by car as the train winds along the mountainsides and it travels through the Kenai Peninsula, goes by massive glaciers, towering waterfalls. It's going through the remote areas. So these are all things that at times can only be seen from the train, not by any other mode of transportation. And then when you get to your destination, you can actually step off the train into the fresh air and open spaces where there's so much room for social distancing. When traveling through Alaska, of course, we do it the scenic way by rail, and the train that runs there is the Alaska Railroad. There's several segments on the Alaska Railroad, but the entire journey is jaw-dropping views, nature, and our packages include the Coastal Classic route, which runs from Anchorage south down to the port of Seward, and the Denali Star route, which runs from Anchorage north through Talkeetna, Denali, and ends in Fairbanks. On board the Alaska Railroad, there's two options available for the classes of service. All of our packages come standard in adventure class, which you can see pictured right here. It's comfortable seating, includes a confirmed seat with a large window there to take in all the great views. They do have onboard dining and bar service available for purchase in the Wilderness Cafe. You're not confined to your seat the whole time. You can explore between the adventure class cars. Of course, you can go to the cafe car. You also have access to the Vista Dome car. It's open seating there. It's available to everyone in adventure class. It's another place to hang out on the train. They have the large glass dome windows, and that's where you can go relax for a bit, taking some of the great views. For those who want the finer things in life, there is a great upgrade option to Gold Star service. That's the premium class. Traveling to Alaska is a bucket list experience. It's that once in a lifetime. So if you are doing it, you're going to Alaska, go all out. I highly recommend upgrading to Gold Star service for the best experience Alaska Railroad has to offer. When you travel in the Gold Star class, where your confirmed seat is, it's in the dome car, so it has those glass dome ceilings there. There's an upper level outdoor viewing platform, so you can actually step outside of the train, take in the fresh air, feel the wind as you're traveling through the wilderness there. The meals are included, so there is a full service dining car, and that's where you'll have your breakfast, lunch, and or dinner included. So it depends what time you're on the train for, but those meals will be included. There's a private bar, you get 2 complimentary beverages, and there's also an Alaskan tour guide. Now that's available for both Gold Star and Adventure class on board the train. And the tour guide is talking about the landscapes that you're traveling through, the history of the lands. They'll point out any wildlife, waterfalls. They'll give you a heads up on it so you can get your camera ready and get to the correct side of the train to take some great pictures. I know one thing a lot of people have asked is, what is Alaska Railroad doing now to maintain a safe environment? So even if you aren't looking to travel right now, you're thinking about it for next year, just kind of want to go through some of the things for those that are interested in a last minute trip to Alaska, because it is safe right now. They've put some great policies in place to ensure that it is for people traveling this summer and early fall. So one of the biggest things they're doing is they're requiring face coverings in the train stations and on the trains themselves for all passengers and staff. Of course, if you are In the cafe car, dining car, you're trying to eat or have a drink, you can take your face covering off to do so. But if you are just sitting in your seat or you're walking about the train, you will need to wear the face mask there. They're staggering the boarding process because that allows for smaller group boarding so they can distance people a little bit more during that process. The trains are capped at about 50% occupancy to allow for extra space between passengers. So they're changing up the seating configuration on the train. So this way you don't have to sit next to someone that's not part of your travel party. You probably won't have them directly in front of you or behind you, so they can really stagger people on the train. They do have a dedicated custodial porter on the train that's going through every 30 minutes and cleaning all the surfaces. So any handles, restrooms, the tables, seats, every time passengers disembark, they'll do a full sanitation and cleaning of those seats. Same thing in the dining car. As soon as people are done eating, they do a full wipe down of every surface they could possibly touch to make sure that everything is cleaned and sanitized. So they're doing a lot right now, and they have been for quite a bit of time. They've had people traveling on it very successfully. It's going very well for them. So now I want to talk about some of the specific packages that we have going to Alaska and some of the different destinations and what you can do there and where you can stay. So we'll start out talking about our most popular package that we have to Alaska, which is our Alaska Adventure with Alaska Railroad. Alaska is famous for its glaciers, fjords, mountains, and lakes. And on this 9-day journey, you'll be able to experience it all. So after exploring Anchorage, you're going to board the Alaska Railroad for a trip south down to Seward. You'll spend the evening there, and then the next day you're going to cruise through the Kenai Fjords National Park. So you'll see the wildlife, mountains, and glaciers all throughout there. Then you're going to take the train back to Anchorage for a night. The next day, you'll leave in the morning, head north to Talkeetna, spend the evening there, and then the next day, it's off to the crown jewel of Alaska, Denali National Park. You have 2 days to explore before heading back to Anchorage for a night, and then heading home from there. So let's break it down a little bit. So you'll start off in Anchorage. You have plenty of time to explore Alaska's largest city. The port of Anchorage is known for being a major cultural hub and the primary gateway to the wilderness areas and the mountains all throughout Alaska. The city center is home to a number of key attractions, including the Alaska Native Heritage Center, the Anchorage Museum of History and Art, and the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center. The city is also home to a diverse range of wildlife, particularly moose and bears, which have been seen roaming within the city limits there. And we do include a trolley tour for you, so that'll take you all around the city. It's guided, so your guide there will point out all the hot spots and teach you all there is to know about Anchorage. From there, you're going to board the Coastal Classic train route from Anchorage down to Seward. That was actually voted one of National Geographic Traveler's top train rides in America. On there, you'll enjoy spectacular views from the dramatic coastline of Turnagain Arm. You'll pass by several different backcountry glaciers. When you're in Seward, we have you spending the night at the beautiful Windsong Lodge. It's in a spectacular wilderness setting, so it's situated right along the Resurrection River, and it's located near the entrance of the Kenai Fjords National Park and only minutes from Exit Glacier. The lodge does provide complimentary shuttle to Seward and to the Alaska Railroad Depot, so when you arrive, they will be there to pick you up, bring you right to the lodge, or you can drop off your luggage, you can settle in and relax by the lodge, or the shuttle does run frequently, so it can take you back to the town of Seward if you want to do some exploring there. Then the next day, you're going to have a transfer taking you to the port, and that's where you're going to board a small boat for an intimate cruise through Kenai Fjords National Park. You'll be able to cruise around the remote islands. You'll see the wildlife. Most commonly spotted is sea lions, seals, maybe even whales, and you'll definitely see the tidewater glaciers. This is actually Alaska's #1 wildlife and glacier cruise. Lunch is also included for you on this tour, so you actually make a stop at Fox Island. You'll disembark from the boat there, and that's where you'll have your lunch. After your cruise, you do have some more free time to check out the town of Seward before boarding Alaska Railroad in the evening to make your way back to Anchorage. You'll spend the night in Anchorage, and then the next day you're going to board the train, make your way up to Talkeetna. Talkeetna should be on every Alaskan itinerary. It's a charming small town, and it's known as the gateway to Denali National Park. It's also known for its mining history and for the great outdoors, because Talkeetna is home to the convergence of three major glacial rivers, which makes it great for excursions. There's also several different trails throughout the area where you can go off explore on your own on a hike, or just outside of town, you can actually walk to the waterfront and take a stroll along the banks of the Sistina River. And on a clear day from Talkeetna, you can actually enjoy views of the Alaskan Range and of Denali or Mount McKinley as a backdrop to the town. Then after Talkeetna, you'll continue north to Denali. Denali National Park encompasses 6 million acres of Alaska's rugged interior and wilderness, with the centerpiece of it all being the 20,310 feet high Denali, or Mount McKinley as it's also referred to as. That is the tallest peak in North America. When you're staying in Denali, we take you on a full day sightseeing tour, which goes deep into the heart of the park. So you travel 92 miles into Denali National Park. You'll make multiple stops along the way. One of the best ones, in my opinion, is the Polychrome Overlook. And that gets its name from the colorful volcanic rock that you can see from the overlook. And from up there, you can also see the streams running below, the mountains at a distance, and glaciers. It's all things that make this spot really unique. And where the overlook is, it's up high, so it's actually a great spot to look out for wildlife. So bears, moose, caribou have all been spotted at times from up there. Then after visiting Denali, you'll take the train back to Anchorage for a final night stay before catching a flight back home. Another option that we have for you is the Denali National Park and Alaska Railroad southbound. On this one here, you can discover the entire route of the Denali Star. It's 356 miles from Fairbanks down to Anchorage. Spectacular scenery all along the way. And this package here, it can actually be done in either direction. We do have a northbound version. But this one, the way we have it, you'll start out with 2 nights in Fairbanks. You'll continue south to Denali for 2 nights, Talkeetna for a night, and then ending with 2 nights in Anchorage. Fairbanks is known as the Golden Heart City, and that's for its historic discovery of gold and its early pioneering spirit. Fairbanks has also been referred to as the gateway to the far north, referring to the Arctic Circle, as there are a fair amount of excursions leaving from Fairbanks going up to the Arctic Circle. From there, you'll head down to Denali. In Denali, we always stay at the Denali cabins. They're situated in a quiet wooded setting away from some of the larger resort properties. So here you can get the true Alaskan wilderness feel while still having all the amenities and comfort that the larger properties have too. So there is full service dining open for all meals. One thing I love about this property is they'll put together box lunches, so you can actually take one of those and go out on a hike, or you can just sit outside and have a picnic. That's why people are going to Alaska, to enjoy the great outdoors. This property here is definitely the ideal base camp for those trying to explore Denali National Park for all the sightseeing and adventures. The tour that we include for you will pick you right up from the cabins there, and they'll take you into the park. They do provide a shuttle that goes from the railroad depot to the cabin, so all your transportation is provided for you. Don't have to worry about getting around at all. And then from Denali, you'll head down to Talkeetna, where we stay at the Talkeetna Alaskan Lodge. From the lodge there, you can experience stunning views of Mount Denali. The lodge is just minutes away from downtown Talkeetna and a lot of the surrounding adventures, including the hiking trails, the rivers, there's jet boat adventures. There is a complimentary shuttle from the depot to bring you to the lodge, so you can head up there, drop off your bags. It runs frequently, so you can take that back down to the town of Talkeetna, where you'll find some quaint shops, restaurants, there's some local breweries there, so lots to do and see in your time in Talkeetna. After that, you're going to head south to Anchorage. You have 2 days exploring there before catching a flight home. Now, for those that maybe have a little less time for your vacation, we have our highlights of Alaska with Alaska Railroad. With this package here, we still offer the full Denali National Park experience, and you can still take the train down to Seward on the Coastal Classic, that beautiful route there, but we do it in a day trip here. So for anyone that maybe only has a week to explore Alaska, here is a great alternative. So this way, again, you can still do the trip to Seward. You do it in a day, so you'll take the train in the morning down to the port of Seward, which is right on the edge of the Resurrection Bay. It's a nature and recreation lover's dream, has jaw-dropping scenery, one of the most picturesque downtown areas, because you have all the boats in the harbor and the marinas there surrounded by the snow-capped mountains. You have the remote islands off at a distance. Really incredible to see. And then when you're in Seward, you have some free time to explore the town. Then we'll take you out on a boat cruise. So you get out on Resurrection Bay. That's where you can really see some of the wildlife, cruise around the remote islands there. Lunch is included on this tour for you here. And then after that, again, you do have a little bit more free time to explore Seward before in the evening heading back to Anchorage. Now remember, if you upgrade to Gold Star, your meals are included on Alaska Railroad. So you would actually have breakfast served for you on the train in the morning. You would have lunch included on your tour here, but then in the evening you would have dinner served for you. So all your meals would actually be included on this day. If you do choose to do adventure class, of course you can purchase your meals on board or you can bring your own food and snacks. But after exploring Seward, you'll head back to Anchorage, spend the night. From there you would head up to Denali, to Denali National Park, and then you would head back to Anchorage there. So again, still seeing all the best highlights of Alaska. Now, the last package I want to talk about today is our Denali Express with Alaska Railroad. One of the top reasons people go to Alaska on vacation is to visit Denali National Park. And that's the focus of this itinerary right here. You can book those round trip flights into Anchorage, and then you can explore Anchorage before we take you up to Denali. Now, in all of the packages that we have, we always include the Anchorage Trolley Tour. It's a 1 hour, 15-mile guided tour. Some of the big highlights of it are Earthquake Park. So actually back in the 60s, there was a 9.2 earthquake on the Richter scale, and a whole neighborhood actually slid into the ocean. So this park is there to commemorate that. And also bring you out to Westchester Lagoon, where you can do some wildlife sightings. You'll go visit Lake Hood, where a lot of the float planes depart from. I always recommend that people do this tour in the morning on the first full day that they have there. So this way you can go back, you have the rest of the day to go back, explore any of those areas that you went to, because you're going to know where all those hot spots are. Maybe you want to have a picnic in Westchester Lagoon and sit out and search for wildlife. You'll know the best place to sit in order to see that. So it does run from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and it departs hourly. So you can do it at any time that works best for you, but I always recommend doing it towards the beginning of your time in Anchorage for that full overview of the city. Then from Anchorage, you'll head up on the train to Denali National Park. In Denali, the tour that we offer, it's a full day tour. We always use the same tour in all of our packages there because it goes the furthest into the park, is one of the most inclusive and best tours of Denali. So you get to travel deep into Denali National Park. That's where you're going 92 miles into it, all the way to Talkeetna. There, they had a short but exciting gold rush, and you do have some free time to explore there. They have different activities, so you can go out and do some gold panning. You can take a history tour, or you can go out on a naturalist hike. Now, I say a hike, it's a very easy walk to go through. So any activity level will be able to do that hike. There is also where you're going to have lunch included for you. And on this tour, you make multiple stops, both into the park and into Kantishna as you go deep into it, and also on the way out. So you'll have lots of stops for wildlife. If there's any sightings, they'll definitely stop so you can get some great photo opportunities. They'll stop, they know the best places to go to have some mountain photo ops of the Alaska Range, and of course of Denali itself, the tallest peak there in North America. And you also stop at a lot of other amazing landscapes like the polychrome overlook that I mentioned earlier. These are all things that are only found in Denali National Park and what makes Denali so special and unique. Now, that's just a highlight of some of the packages that we have going to Alaska. As I mentioned earlier in today's presentation, we can also customize any of our Real Vacation packages. So if you think 2 nights in Denali is not enough for you, you love to hike or you just want to sit out, relax, enjoy Alaska, no worries. We can make it 3, 4 nights easily for you. Just let us know. But I do have one question that I want to ask all of you, and that is, which destination are you most interested in visiting? Now that I went through all the ones that we have, would love if you all could just type right into your questions box. You can just send it in there. Which destinations specifically really intrigue you and you're looking to go for? And also when you're looking to go, whether it's a last minute trip or if you're looking to travel next year. So if it's going to the largest city, Anchorage, the crown jewel of Alaska, Denali National Park, the small quaint town of Talkeetna, visiting Fairbanks and possibly venturing up to the Arctic Circle from there, the port of Seward, or getting out in the water and touring Kenai Fjords National Park. So it looks like we have Caitlin, who's interested in Denali National Park. We have Tom, who's looking at the fjords, so getting out in the water and doing one of the small cruises. That's the best part about doing it by land and doing the small cruise, is that you really can travel through the fjords, get close to the different islands and up close to the glaciers, as you're on a much smaller boat versus the massive cruise ships going through that they have to keep quite a distance as they're so massive. So I won't go through everyone's response here, but thank you so much everyone for sharing that. I just always love hearing kind of what intrigues you the most. Looks like Denali National Park is by far the one that's drawing the most attention. No surprise there. I do want to talk about some of our special offers that we have. So we have one running right now. It's for a limited time, and it's to save $300 off per couple on any of our Alaska itineraries that we have. So I wanted to include a couple other special offers that we have as they are running now, because with Railbookers, remember, we are worldwide. So if you are looking at doing a European trip or something else, we can certainly help you with that too. We actually have some great discounts on those. With Ireland, we have $400 off per couple. Our Grand Venice, Florence, Rome. So if you're looking to go to Italy, great savings there, as well as savings on trips going through Switzerland, traveling through the Swiss Alps there. I do want to remind you all about the maximum flexibility offer. Again, this allows you to book with us now. You can take advantage of the special offers, the great savings that we have. And if you need to change your dates later, you can do so up to 5 days prior to your departure date without incurring any change or cancellation fees. And with the maximum flexibility offer, it doesn't matter if you're looking to travel in 2020 or 2021. So if you're getting ready to book ahead of time, you're planning ahead for your next trip, but you're not sure in your schedule, no worries. If you do have to adjust your dates later, we can certainly do that. And just a quick reminder, again, why people love Railbookers and booking and traveling with us, especially if you haven't worked with us in the past. It's because we can book up to 2 years in advance. We have some great savings. The earlier you book, the more you can take advantage of some of those special offers that we have and discounts. We offer those bucket list experience for the special occasions anywhere in the world you're looking to travel to. Lots of freedom and flexibility when you travel with us, because again, we can customize our vacation packages that we have, so we can always make the perfect vacation for you. You can choose your own accommodations if you want 3, 4, 5 star, if you want a chain or you want a boutique hotel. We can do that for you in the different cities that you're visiting. Traveling by train, it's the most scenic way. It's also the most relaxing way to travel, so really enjoy your trip. And of course, you can just put the small deposit now and then you can pay for your trip later, so you don't have to worry about that till you get closer to your departure. So you heard it from me, but I want you to hear it from some others that have traveled with us and have used us in the past. We have Jennifer, who said using Railbookers made it simple to experience so many different areas and beautiful landmarks all in one trip. We have from Den, it took one call to book the perfect itinerary. Railbookers is always our first choice for rail trips. And then from Elizabeth, she had said, our trip was a success before we even left home. Elizabeth went on a complicated multi-city, multi-country trip with the family there. So we helped organize everything, figure out the train routes for her and for her family, made it a very easy process. As again, it gets really complicated when you're matching all these different train routes together. I know today, again, really just focused on Alaska, as that's what we've been seeing a lot of people booking right now, especially with everything that's happening. People want to stay a little bit closer to home. They're looking to stay within the US, and what better destination than Alaska to do so? Still in the US, a little bit further, so it gives you that feel like you're in a whole different world out there, very different from any place in a lower 48 states here. But you can check us out at railbookers.com, see all the destinations that we have to offer throughout the world. We also have a great trip planning section if you need help going through. Of course, you can always give us a call. Our team is standing by. We're here to be a resource to help you plan your trip and put it together for you. Do want to let you know we have our 2020 brochures available. You can find all those on our website, whether you're looking to travel through Canada with our Via Rail vacations, throughout Europe, we have our Eurostar vacations, and then Trenitalia if you're specifically looking for Italian trips and going through Italy there. We do have some awards and recognition, so we're the experts when it comes to rail travel, and we've received multiple awards and recognitions for that, for what we're able to do. I won't go through all of them here, but we are so proud of all of these and of the team that we have here, what we've been able to accomplish and how we've been able to plan a perfect trips for our customers there. So just wanted to kind of share that with you. Now, if you enjoyed today's webinar presentation, I want to invite you to some of the future ones that we have coming up. We always do different topics for it based on what we're seeing, where the demands are. So we have next week is going to be talking about Switzerland and Italy and traveling by train through the Swiss Alps. On the 8th, we have iconic rail journeys around the world. On the 15th, we'll be talking about Canadian Rockies and beyond and focusing on some of our Canada and Via Rail packages. Via Rail is Canada's national train system. Then we have Ireland and Scotland after that. And then at the end of September, we'll be talking about our luxury rail experiences all around the world. Now, don't forget, if you haven't downloaded that handout already, you can go ahead, you can click on that there. And at this time, I do want to open it up to questions. I do see a couple that came in during the presentation. If anyone else does have any questions, please feel free to type that into your questions box, and I'll make sure to get to those. So with that, let's get right to it. We have a question from Jessica. How much is the deposit and when do I have to pay off the trip? So great question. The deposit is $250 per person. So that's all you would have to pay now. And then the final payment is due 90 days prior to your departure. So if you're not traveling until next year, you can put that small $250 per person deposit down, lock in the space there, the prices, everything for you. And then you don't have to worry about final payment till next year, again, 90 days prior to your departure. We have a question from Ashley. If I'm looking to travel by myself, would I still be able to get the promo? So yes, you certainly can. So if you are traveling by yourself, for any of our solo travelers, or if you're traveling, let's say you're a group of three, it's essentially $150 per person that you would get. So yep, that promotion would definitely apply to you there. We have a question from Miranda. What's the difference between the classes again? Can you please clarify? Sure. So the two classes of service on Alaska Railroad, so on the train there, are Adventure Class and Gold Star service there. So with Adventure Class, you do have your confirmed seat on the train, nice large picture windows that you have there to look out, taking all the amazing views there. You have access to the cafe car where you can purchase your meals, and you have access to the dome car that's on the train. If you're traveling in Gold Star, which is the upgraded class of service, in that case, where your confirmed seat is, that's in the dome car on the train already. So it's a separate one than the adventure class. So it's a specific dome car for Gold Star service. You have your seat there. Again, big windows, taking all the great views. All your meals are included. It's probably one of the biggest differences there is that, again, depending when you're on the train, you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner all included for you on board there. And you do get 2 complimentary adult beverages. So when you're on the train, if you're heading up to Denali, you can have a glass of champagne, do a toast, and kick off your vacation the right way and really sit back and enjoy the journey. We have a question from Alex. Do you book the flights? So we do not book the flights. The flights would be separate. So you would want to book that on your own, and then we'll take care of everything else for you. We found it's relatively easily these days to go through. There's different, sites, things like that, where you can book those round trip flights. A lot of our packages are round trip for Anchorage, or it's easy enough to book it one way into Anchorage, home from Fairbanks there. So we don't include the flights for you, as there's lots of different airlines, lots of different preferences there, but we take care of everything else. So the entire land portion is what we will do for you. We can do the transfers, the hotels, the sightseeing and excursions, everything like that that you'll need. So looks like that's all we have time for questions today. With that, if you do think of anything that you need later, please feel free to give us a call. Our team is standing by. Like so many others, we have had to go home-based, but we are all set up in our home offices, and when you're ready to book and to travel, we are ready to help you out. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed today's presentation and learned a lot about what it's like to travel through Alaska by land. Take care.